The Tournament of Champions, a place where only the best compete. But in its storied history, the PBA's signature event has never assembled a final field like it has today. For the first time in history, 4 of the 5 players in today's competition are reigning major champions. Masters winner and newly crowned Player of the Year, Jason Belmonte. PBA World Champion, Dom Barrett. U.S. Open winner, Wes Malott. And the Hall of Fame legend attempting to defend his TOC title, Pete Weber. All are here and all are ready to compete for the most coveted title of the 2014 season, the Barbasol PBA Tournament of Champions. Welcome to historic Thunderbolt Lanes in Allen Park, Michigan for the stepladder final of the Barbasol PBA Tournament of Champions. Let's meet the 5 finalists.
The number 5 seed is a member of both the PBA and USBC Halls of Fame. From St. Anne, Missouri, the defending champion, Pete Weber. The number 4 seed is looking for his first career major championship. From Windsor, Ontario, Canada, Dan McClelland. The number 3 seed is the 2013 U.S. Open champion from Pflugerville, Texas, Wes Malott. The number 2 seed is the reigning PBA World Champion from Colchester, England, Dom Barrett. The number 1 seed is the 2013 USBC Masters Champion from New South Wales, Australia, the reigning PBA Player of the Year, Jason Belmonte. These are your 5 finalists for the Barbasol PBA Tournament of Champions.
An historic stepladder final of the Barbasol PBA Tournament of Champions. Pete Weber and Dan McClelland will get things started. Nothing but major titleists all the way up the ladder. Malott, Barrett, and Jason Belmonte, the tournament leader. And hello again, everybody. Mike Jakubowski with PBA Hall of Famer Randy Peterson. Kimberly Pressler reporting laneside. She'll be joining us shortly. Randy, Jason Belmonte led the Tournament of Champions by a mile. Is he the best player in the world right now?
Yes, he is. He was just voted Player of the Year. He's made the last 7 out of 8 major telecasts. He led this event by over 360 pins. He has the strongest, most powerful strike ball in the history of professional bowling, Mike, and when he's able to repeat shots, he's unbeatable. When Belmonte is firing on all cylinders, there's only 2 things that can beat him: a 1-game match or an act of God.
Let's flash back to last year's title match, Pete Weber versus Jason Belmonte. Weber prevailed. What was the difference?
Difference was ball reaction. Pete Weber was able to blend the reaction out. Belmonte had to get way in, loft the gutter cap. When he got it to the right too early, it split. In fact, he threw 3 splits. Weber was able to blend both lanes out using 2 different bowling balls. He had the perfect release going. The perfect PDW showed up for last year's Tournament of Champions.
The amazing, incredible Pete Weber. Once again attempting to rewrite the history books, and he's standing by right now with Kimberly Pressler.
Thanks, guys. Pete, you're the defending champion of this event, but the last time we saw you compete in a major, you were actually sitting in the same position where you had to climb the step ladder in order to win. You fell short there, but today you've got some major obstacles in front of you. Not only do you have to get through this match, but then you've got to get through 3 reigning major champions in order to win. How daunting of a task is this for you?
Kimberly, you make it sound so hard. I mean, really, You're right, though. I do have a big task in front of me today. I haven't counted anything yet. I have to work hard, keep the ball in play, and just outstrike my opponents.
Have you given it any thought that if you win today, you are going to set the records for the most majors won ever?
I'll think about that after I win.
Good luck to you today.
Thanks.
Pretty confident Pete Weber as you take a look at the 39-foot Tournament of Champions oil pattern. This is an extremely high-scoring oil pattern used this week, Mike. We had 11 300 games. Jason Belmonte averaged over 243 for 49 games. The players are going to start in the middle part of the lane, and as the oil pattern breaks down, they're just going to migrate in. The reason for the high scores? Plenty of oil in the middle of the lane.
Dan McClellan has elected to start our opening match. Left lane. Tournament of Champions underway, 2-pin.
And speaking with Dan, I asked him how he was going to attack this oil pattern while he was practicing, and he said, well, I'm going to see what my ball reaction looks like. I can do two things. I can go really straight, or I can move in and hook it with the best of them. That shot, obviously, very straight.
Spare for McClellan, and we're underway. Packed house here at Thunderbolt Lanes in Allen Park, Michigan. There he is, Hall of Famer Pete Weber. You heard Kimberly mention the obstacles in the way, but history in the making. Weber trying to tie the record for TOC titles at 3 and beat the record of the great Earl Anthony with 10 all-time PBA majors. Opening shot, right lane. Overcooks it just a bit. 310 the baby split.
And look for the right lane to hook more than the left lane all day long. It's because of the topography of the two lanes. Pete gets it right, ball overhooks, and he starts out with a baby split. The idea here is to cover both pins with the bowling ball.
It's an open frame for Weber. And Tracy Weber often providing inspiration right behind Pete.
Pete Weber making the last 3 telecasts in majors. Dan McClellan, although he hasn't won a national title, has made 4 major telecasts to his credit. So Dan has been in this position before. The only thing missing on his resume is a win.
Weber moves to the left lane after the open frame. Second frame, opening match. And Weber kicks out the 10 on the board with a strike.
And Pete told me before we went on the air that one of the keys for him was ball speed. He had to make sure that his speed was soft enough. It worked perfectly on the left lane. He's going to have to make an adjustment on the right lane.
Barbasol PBA Tournament of Champions. 88 players, national titleists, regional titleists, women's series titleists, regional titleists invited to compete. 88 played, cut to the top 24 after 25, and then a traditional round of robin match play, and just the 7-pin for McClellan.
Well, that's the last thing you want to see if you're Dan McClellan, throwing a pretty good shot here and almost leaving a pocket 7-10. The head pin goes to the sidewall, knocks the 10 out. Dan was happy to see that. You don't want to follow an opening from your opponent with an open frame yourself.
Spare for McClellan. Randy, Dan feels he has the home field advantage. His wife, his family, and his friends are here. In fact, he's been in this building since he was 8. His father used to bowl in competitive leagues in this environment. How important is a potential home field advantage in having mom and wife and friends cheering you on?
I think it's a double-edged sword. I think that it could create pressure or added pressure, but it's also nice to bowl in front of family and friends. You know, for Dan, I think it's a blessing in disguise. I think it's going to help him.
Strike for McClellan.
He's a real talented guy that can do multiple things with the bowling ball. A real high-rev power player that can also go straight as he plays to the crowd. That's awesome.
Pete mentioned defending a title is awesome. Never give up when you're close. And early adversity for Weber on the open frame. Championship banner in the background. Weber now and double up. And a double for Weber.
Well, this Tournament of Champions title's only been defended by one player, and that was Jason Couch, who did it 3 times. He was a three-peat of this championship. As we take a look at Weber's finish right here, as he slips just a little bit, but he did make the adjustment, and that ball finished perfect in the 1-3 pocket.
Interesting to note, Randy, the synthetic lane surface and the natural surface of the wood approaches.
Yeah, it's an unusual combination, and one that you don't see very often anymore. I personally love it. I love the wood approaches with the synthetic lanes.
So Weber, after the open frame, little crowd distraction, Pete will reset.
But take a look at Pete Weber's arsenal as he's using a high road. You notice how it's not the strongest piece of equipment in that arsenal, and so it's vital for Weber to maintain the proper ball speed to make sure the ball hooks off the end of the oil pattern.
So Weber back on the left lane after the reset, riding a double here. 4th frame opening match. Comes across the head pin, just leaves the 10.
Well, he didn't like it as soon as it left his hand, and I'm not sure if Pete is quite comfortable yet with his ball reaction. That ball looked like it was well left to target, and for a professional at this level, the only time a player misses like that is when he's unsure.
What's he gesticulating there?
Just talking about what his hand was doing at release, and then what the ball motion looked like after it left his hand.
McClelland working to calm down, slow the heart rate. He's trying to stay down on the shot. Soft hand, let the ball do the rest. 4th frame. Ball did too much there. 10 pin.
Yeah, he looked like he got fast and then grabbed it at the bottom of the swing. And when a player doesn't get the ball off their hand cleanly at the point of release, normally there's a grab involved, and when that happens, 9 times out of 10, the ball's going to be left of target.
Spare for McClelland. He says it's a tough road to go through, but he is staying focused right now.
My mind, I'm just thinking I got 4 other players to go through to win my first title. Just going out there and bowling my game. I don't want to get all into the hype of last 4 major championship winners. You know, I just need to do what I need to do to win, and that's all I'm focused on right now.
5th frame for McClelland. Strike!
Hey, you talk about controlling the nerves, and it's a tall order for Dan McClelland. Not that he's not capable, but think about the murderer's row that he has to go through just to get to the title match to have a chance to win. First, he's got to dispose of Weber. Then it's Malott, your reigning U.S. Open champion. Then it's Dom Barrett, your reigning world champion. And then his consolation prize is he gets to bowl the Player of the Year, Jason Belmonte. But if you're going to win a major, this is the way to do it for young Dan McClelland.
Light hit, 2-8, double wood.
Pete Weber's ball reaction is not good, and it's evident by the last 2 shots. It's really the only reason why he doesn't get to the pocket. It's either he's chosen the wrong ball or he's playing the lanes incorrectly, and 9 times out of 10 for Pete, it's the wrong ball.
Weber picks up the spare, the 2 and the sleeper. He trails by 3 pins. We enter the 6th frame. Winner here will get Wes Malott as the number 3 seed. Barrett and Belmonte yet to come.
Mike J., if you're Dan McClellan right now, you have to somehow figure out a way to regulate the nerves, the heartbeat, and the adrenaline, because he can win this match. All he has to do is make good shots. He's got a better ball reaction. He's in the driver's seat and he doesn't know it. He just needs to remain calm and make good shots.
Defending champion Weber in the 6th. Didn't like it. And again, coming up high, 3-6-10.
Boy, that's...
Again, the bad shots
what's going on?
because of apprehension
Go the ball, that's for sure.
due to a bad ball reaction. He's unsure what's going to happen when he goes right with it. He knows that if he misses left, it's not going to hold pocket.
Oh, now open frame.
Sorry, can't let go of the ball. I don't know why. Not good, Pete.
Not a good start for our defending champion. Couple of open frames. Dan McClellan in the driver's seat. Can he advance to face Wes Malott? Find out next at the Barbasol PBA Tournament of Champions. Welcome back to a packed house at Thunderbolt Lanes. We're in Allen Park, Michigan, just outside of Detroit in the Motor City. Let's take a look back at Pete Weber's first Tournament of Champions victory.
Yeah, it's back in 1987, and what I really like about this video is the lack of ball reaction. It's amazing how far this sport has come. You can see just how straight that ball enters the pins, but it's the same great PDW in action as he beat Jim Murdashaw to win his first Tournament of Champions. And who would have thought it would take Pete 26 years to win his second?
And he wins his 10th title.
He had great hair back then, too.
Middle of our opening match, McClellan plus 17 and Weber working on strategy with tour rep Chris Schlemmer.
Well, the first one, the only shot I felt good was the second one on that lane, and then everything else. I'm thinking so much about this that I'm not worried. I'm not thinking about anything else. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know your hands in the right spot. You just gotta get your body in the right spot.
Now.
Yeah. Hey, we got fucking how many more frames?
4 more frames.
4 more frames? All right.
Yeah.
Shot to shot, fill it up. You never know.
Yeah.
That's why I play the game.
What they're talking about is that the reason why Pete is having trouble with the bad ball reaction is his body's out of position. He's not making good shots. He said the only shot that felt good was the shot he threw in the second frame. The keys for Pete when practicing with his brother Rich is to make sure that he keeps his upper body up. He can't tilt early. He also has to bump the ball a little bit to start the push away.
McClellan doubles, increases his lead to 27. Final 4 frames opening match. Winner gets Wes Malott next.
And that's not what Weber wanted to see, but this is what I spoke about earlier with Dan McClellan. He's got a really good ball reaction. All he has to do is make good shots, hit his target, and that will be the end result right there.
Talking with Dan and spending some time, he just is so genuine, soft-spoken, and inside that chest beats a big heart. He lost his first 5 matches on television before winning a pair. Now trying to advance in a major. That's the way it's done. Turkey, 3 in a row.
Some pretty good shots right there from Dan McClellan, and that's how you do it. That's how you take advantage of an opponent's open frame. Dan McClellan stepped up working on a strike and threw 2 beautiful shots. Now it's a 3-bagger. Pete Weber has to strike out, in my opinion, to have any chance of advancing.
Backed Weber against the wall. Now Weber operates 7th frame.
Well, obviously a much better shot there. He looked more comfortable and looked more in time. Let's watch his hand at the finish here. Follow through. There's the fingers up. This ball's on line with the proper trajectory and speed. Question is, can he repeat the motion here in the 8th frame?
Okay.
Eighth frame. Weber working on a strike, must have it here to put any kind of pressure on McClellan.
Wow.
And rarely do you see Pete Weber struggle with his physical game, but the one thing that I always look for is if his hand is open after he lets go of it, and if the fingers are pointing up. You see the fingers are pointing down. That ball pushed a little bit longer down the lane, and it came in light, and I think Pete felt very fortunate that that ball struck.
And McClellan lined up now.
Take a look at Dan McClellan's arsenal using an LX16, the strongest ball that he brought to the party today. I want to make an interesting note here, Mike J. The players in front of Dan McClellan, Wes Malott, Dom Barrett, Jason Belmonte, are all going to be left of him on the lane. They're going to be left of him opening up the lane, kind of like what Pete Weber's doing. My question is, my thought is, how long does his ball reaction last going that straight? Will he be able to stay out on that island by himself for the entire telecast?
We will find out.
Something to watch for.
Something to look for. Weber must strike to the finish. He can max out at 222 foundation frame.
Well, he's found a little something, but the question is it too little too late? Pete Weber can strike out for 222. Dan McClellan is already in the 230s. You just rarely see Pete struggle with timing. Again, he's really he only has 2 swing thoughts that he basically sticks with, and I can't remember the last time I saw him out of time and out of balance making shots on television. That time his fingers were pointing straight to the sky. That ball finished perfect in the 1-3. But you can hear him, you know, that's how critical it is. Watch the hand on this shot. Remember the last time in this left lane his fingers were pointing in. Look at the fingers pointing up. And you heard Pete say one little thing. Maybe it was the way he was pushing the ball away that got him started. I guarantee you, whatever it was at the start of his approach.
Ten-pin. McClellan will advance and end the run of the defending champion here at the Barbasol PBA Tournament of Champions.
Well, let's keep one last thing in mind as we go to say goodbye to Pete Weber. He's 51 years old. He's the defending champion of this event. I think there's a case that you can make about Pete Weber possibly being the greatest of all time. There, I said it.
Pete earned consideration in this year's Player of the Year vote. But Dan McClellan has chopped down one of the big trees on the way to the title here. Wes Malott will be next, and Dan's family looking on. His support system is here, and the crowd is behind him. Dan's wife, Christy James, Michelle McClellan, Dan's mom, and sister Ann, and brother Steve, as well as friends and family, supporting Canadian Dan McClellan. And now a messenger 10. So the question does remain, will that shot hold up for McClellan? He's got another major titleist in his way. Dan McClellan takes on U.S. Open champion Wes Malott when we return to Thunderbolt Lane's Barbasol PBA Tournament of Champions continues. Coming up next Sunday on ESPN at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, it's the PBA Super Clash. The last two PBA Players of the Year. Sean Rash will face Jason Belmonte in a 3-game total pins match. Immediately following next Sunday at 5:30 Eastern, it's the CP3 PBA Remix on ESPN. Barbasol Tournament of Champions rolls on, and our stepladder final score of our opening match, Dan McClelland defeats Pete Weber 259 to 211, advances to face Wes Malott.
Jason Belmonte.
Earlier this week in Allen Park, Michigan, PBA Tour Commissioner Tom Clark announced the Chris Schenkel PBA Player of the Year Award awarded to Jason Belmonte, just edged out by Sean Rash last year. And now Kimberly Pressler is standing by with the PBA Player of the Year.
Thanks, guys. So, Jason, you won Player of the Year just this week, and for good reason. You showed the world exactly what a two-handed bowler can do. But what do you say to all those naysayers that told you, as a two-handed bowler, you wouldn't go anywhere in the sport?
Look, I think the first thing is when I was a little boy, I used to cry when I used to hear those things. And now, I thank them because they give you the motivation to prove them wrong. They make you work harder just to say to them, I can do it any way I want. I'm going to be the best in the world, and you just watch me do it. That's a great attitude to have. Now, your fans got a special treat this week because you wore something and bowled a 297-point game. Talk to us about that innovative technology. Yeah, well, Google has a new device called the Google Glass that hasn't quite come out to the market yet, but I got a chance to get my hands on a pair, and basically it has a little camera at the front there, and I'm able to record everything that I see as I'm bowling. So, it obviously gives the fans a brand new point of view to watch bowling. It's unprecedented in any other sport at this level. I'm really excited to use it, and I can't wait to show the fans the footage. Congratulations and good luck today. Thanks a lot.
Also, a nod to all of our 2012-13 PBA award winners. Of course, Jason Belmonte earning the PBA Player of the Year. E.J. Tackett, the Harry Golden PBA Rookie of the Year. Tony Reyes Community Service Award awarded for the very first time to Parker Bone III. And the Steve Nagy Sportsmanship Award goes to Ryan Schaefer and Randy. Everyone in the bowling community has their hearts out to Ryan Schaefer and his family.
Well, we're all truly saddened by this horrific tragedy. Ryan Schaefer losing wife Shelley. I've known Ryan for a long time, and Ryan, we just want you to know that your PBA family and friends are here for you, and we send our heartfelt prayers and thoughts to you, buddy, and we hope you take care of yourself. And
coming up next, we will continue with our Barbasol PBA Tournament of Champions as Dan McClelland advances to face Wes Malott. Coming up next.